Hello water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. We are going to do a collective tarot reading for my water signs here on my channel today. So general messages, please only take away what resonates with you, what motivates, empowers, inspires you today. That's what I'm hoping to do. If you're not feeling that way, feel free to push the messages aside, see if they resonate for you at a later date, and they might not. So please trust your own intuition to choose what is meant for you and what you can release. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions, but please do come in with an open heart and an open mind. Desire to learn something to better yourself. That's my general spiel. You can tell I'm not quite in it. Usually I rattle that off easily. Here we go. Anyway, focusing on our water signs. Water signs. You're having conflicted ideas about a long-term vision or goal you had. It's like you're starting to question if it's your true north, or if you've had like a misstep or should have gone this way or that way. Some of you, it's almost like you're recalculating. It's like, I thought I was going this way, but maybe it feels very indecisive this week, especially underscored with the Four of Cups too. That to me is like not knowing exactly how you feel. Four of Cups is moon in Cancer, so that watery energy, you know, whatever sign you are. And we have to remember the moon, it changes shape, right? It fluctuates, it waxes and wanes. So this period of indecision or questioning, really questioning, you know, sort of what you're inspired by and if that's right or wrong, that's going to change. So I would not make super important life-altering decisions based on a mood or a feeling, which I'm sure you guys hear all the time, being water signs, right? But that's just sort of the general idea that I'm getting. It's like, I think you're questioning what you're building towards, but what you might not be understanding or being challenged by is the pace of it. Thinking you're going to get the promotion, you know, sooner than it happened, or thinking that you should stop growing your own business because you're not seeing that, you know, income or whatever. And again, you guys are completely accountable for all your actions and choices, but I almost think what you're not seeing though is that the progress that's being made, it's sort of in the timeline of Earth, right? Earth is the slowest moving element. It's not rapid fire, and it's not sort of that mixture of water, which again, like the moon, changes form. You know, it can be slow as an iceberg, right? Not budging at all, or it can be, you know, flowing into the ocean and the river, right? So and that could be part of what you're experiencing too, is a fluctuation in income, or really a fluctuation in how you feel about it. It's like some days you love it, you're all in, you see potential in it, you like what you do. Other days you're kind of like, my heart isn't in this and it's not what I want. And so there's a lot of questioning going on this week. What else can I tell them? Yeah, I mean this with the utmost respect and kindness, you're not seeing things clearly right now. So I'm not saying you're all wrong and that your perceptions and I'm not saying your perceptions are all off and that your feelings are not valid. I am here to say your feelings are valid, but sometimes it's that mixture of water, the feelings, and in this deck, voices represent swords. So it's taking time to actually understand where those emotions are coming from, rather than, interesting this depiction, right? Projecting it onto, oh, it's my job, or oh, it's my boyfriend, my girlfriend, it's my apartment, it's too big, it's too small, it's not enough, it's not meeting my needs. There's a need to dissect it, and I will say with this card especially, like adjusting the glasses, like look more carefully. Sometimes with this, I can get rose-tinted glasses, like wanting to believe something that just simply isn't there. That might be a message for some of you. Hold on. You have to look, okay, rather than focusing on the thoughts, because those seem to be spinning around, and it's Gemini season, right? So we're all kind of going through that, like, you know, lack of precision with our thoughts, right? There's kind of some scattered thoughts, and oh, it could be this, or maybe I'll do that. And then again with the water, there's this fluctuating moon energy where one day you feel this and the next day you feel that. So it's almost like you don't know what to believe anymore. We have to focus on what we know, and what we know is literally, you know, in our hands, surrounding us. It's that earthy energy. That's really what we need to focus on, because something about that, there's an answer in that for you. I also think too with the star, and this message came up for the fire signs too. Aquarian energy is sort of what I get off of this, especially in this reading too. The idea of fixity, right? Aquarius is a fixed air sign. So a fixed vision, an ideal version of society, of friendship groups, of the way things operate and work and function, right? On a cerebral level, right? Because Aquarius is an air sign. But also ruled by Saturn. So again, like the material, the reality of the world. The idea of having fixity in your vision of your future on a much more personal level of where you see yourself in 5 years and in 2 minutes for some of you. Some of you, it's like you're changing your mind and flip-flopping all the time. There needs to be a little bit more wiggle room in that. There needs to be room for negotiation and being really honest and real with yourself about what you're seeing versus what is. And I think there's a middle ground. I think that's what it's saying. Because it's not saying to deny yourself of this vision or to lack faith, but you can't go on faith alone, right? There has to be sort of showing up and meeting the universe halfway, which is, to me, what the Knight of Pentacles shows. That's what I mean. There is progress being made here, but it's being made very slowly. And because of that timeline, and possibly a timeline that doesn't match your original expectations, I think there's some adjusting going on. I think there's some editing. I think there's some analyzing or reorganization of our strategy of the way we go about this, or of, I'm almost wanting to say the word sacrifice, but what I mean here is, and I'm just totally giving this an example. I'm going to work this teaching job for 8 to 10 years, and then I'm going to take my money and I'm going to open my own business, or I'm going to start, lecturing online, and almost like entrepreneurial, right? Just for as an example. But it's almost like you're at year 7 and you're year 8 and you're just like, ooh, I don't see a way out of this yet where I could be financially, abundant and successful on my own, but I want it. And so that's what I mean. I see there's this kind of impatience of, well, I want it so much, the universe must know that, I'm just going to do it and go for it and take a risk. You can do that, but I think the logical side, again, the swords here says, let's look at that more closely. Like, I'm not saying you can't, but like, let's crunch the numbers, let's add in the math, the statistics. That's that kind of air energy. Again, with the material, with the money, quite frankly, with the resources. Can we afford it? Knight of Pentacles, slowest moving knight in the deck, but it does say slow and steady wins the race. There is progress being made. It's just not happening, again, at the speed that you desire. Also, connected to Virgo. So Virgo is the one who perfects, right? They edit, they refine, they go back to the drawing board when something doesn't work, but they don't abandon it, right? Because it's like earth energy. So you've been planting, or you've been watering that seed and nurturing it and growing it, and you're like, I don't see a bud. I don't see it anywhere. Like, I've been going at this for so long, and like, it's almost like some of you are just ready to throw in the towel because you're feeling defeated. And I just have to be honest, my reading of the cards say it's not time to end and throw in the towel. It might be time to, as I said, revert or go back or reassess. Very Mercury retrograde terms, which is funny because Mercury is not actually in retrograde right now, but it might be when you're watching this, who knows. I don't think it's abandoned ship. I think it is tweaking, or again, editing, changing your approach, because your current vision of what's to be, it just simply isn't. And I'm not saying it could never be in the future, but if you are making moves and strategic plays based off of something that is years down the road, I think the universe is reminding you to get grounded and live in the now. And again, an honest assessment of where you're at. You have the passion, you have the fire in your belly, you have the enthusiasm. But again, part of this isn't entirely up to you. There's some sort of path that you're meant to go down, and I think you are. It's like you're what's a word? I don't, almost like spiteful. You're fiery. You're like, well, this isn't what it's supposed to be. This isn't what I wanted. And again, that Aquarian energy, it's ruled by the planet Uranus, right? Which is the disruptor, the awakener, but it can be very erratic. It can be very, kind of shocking and out of the blue. I'm just going to make this change. And again, if that's what you want to do, I'm not here to tell you no, but I am here to tell you to be honest with, are you acting out of strong emotions that are in flux or fluctuating, right? Yeah, some of you are just having a rough go, like you're having a rough month or a rough couple months, and this too shall pass. Like the moon. Remember, fluctuation is good. And not everything is clear right now, too. There's an internal feeling, and it's like you're projecting the vision. And I mean projecting in this sense in a positive way. You're trying to see the good, or see the future, see where this is headed. But there's confusion there, and I think it's very frustrating for you, water signs. The Ace of Voices. So the Ace of Swords, ask your guides, whatever you believe in, God, source, spirit, universe. There are messages, there's information around you, but you're faced in the wrong direction. You're not hearing it or not seeing it. Or I just think there's so many thoughts and ideas floating around in your head that you're having trouble separating, fact from fiction. So again, do your best to ground yourself and meditate. Get into that sort of state where you can, as best you can, calm that internal voice. Because I don't mean to offend, but there's something about your internal system right now is so bogged down with information overload that you're maybe not making decisions from the best place right now. And again, I don't at all mean to offend anyone. This is just my honest assessment of the reading. Take a breather. Again, meditation is really good with the Ace of Swords. There is new opportunities, there's new facts, there's new ideas, there's new communications coming in, but are you even in a place where you're ready to receive them? If a blessing comes in, do you have room for it in your life? If you got your dream job tomorrow and, the responsibility rested on you to make this business grow and thrive, have you done the research? Do you know how to run a business? It's that type of thing. It's almost like this is a good time for preparation, but I'm not sure it's time to, cut the cord, so to say. There might be a reason why you're being held back or stuck in a certain spot. So I would really try, if that's what you have to do, maybe to wear the rose-tinted glasses on a situation where it's it's not really ideal. It's not the best case scenario. I definitely want more. Great. That's awesome. You're going to get there eventually. But right now, I almost think the universe, it might be like divine protection, keeping you where you're at to strategize or get your ducks in a row. Anyway, one more card. What is new communication coming in? What can I tell them? Awakening. Okay, so judgment. I'm sort of getting the idea of opening up your heart to something new, or seeing something in a different light, feeling like you finally understand the path, or there's more clarity coming in. I can tell you that. This kind of makes sense. It comes through in my water sign readings all the time because you guys are so linked to the past and, history and things of that sort, being quite sentimental or attached. Not all of you, of course. I don't mean to stereotype, but just by nature, water signs are connected to our past lives, right? There is a message here about returning to something of the past. And I'm not saying forever. I'm not saying you're going to abandon your current job and go back to what you used to do. For some of you, that could certainly be the case. But it might have to do with reflecting on the past. Because maybe you felt like this previously and acted erratically or jumped ship too soon. And so maybe the universe is giving you this time to kind of reflect on patterns or things that have happened in the past, and to come to sort of some higher wisdom or higher judgment about that. And I am saying habits and patterns because of the connection to the moon here with the Four of Cups. There's a spiritual awakening here. And I will say there's divine guidance here. The idea of the universe trying to communicate with you in subtle ways through Earth, spending time in nature, getting yourself grounded, just going on a nature walk or meditating outside, if you can, depending on where you live. Something about that, it opens you up to see something from a new perspective. And with judgment, the idea of the ending of a chapter, we're on our way to the world. So that's what I mean. We're not quite there yet. We can't we can't do the all done here and then moving on. There's strings attached still. We're not in the clear yet, but I really want to reiterate, it's for a very good reason, but it's sort of up to you, my viewers, to figure out what that reason is. But I can tell you, you're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. If anything, if you're looking to quote unquote expedite this and get things moving, the best thing you can do is relax and not do anything at all, because there's going to be messages coming in for you in an intuitive way. Do you understand what I mean? The universe communicating to you on some level. Do some journaling, some free association writing, pull some tarot cards of your own. It's like you're blocking yourself from divine wisdom and divine communication right now. It's there, but nothing's going to budge until you start seeing the signs and noticing the synchronicities, okay? What a water sign reading, right? All right, let's talk about love. Love and relationships. What deck shall we use? I mean, I saw this one first. Let's do these two. Love and relationships. Switching gears. For my water signs. There is a very strong Aquarian energy in that. I'm even getting Aquarius off of this, which is not typically what I do. But anyway, there might be an Aquarius coming in any capacity, as a friend, giving you some good advice or guidance, a business partner, possibly a romantic relationship. All right, here we go. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. What do we got on the docket for love in the coming weeks or months? What's coming in for love? Whoop. Knight of Cups reversed. Uh-oh. We're still stuck on that King of Pentacles, aren't we? We just can't let him go. A Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, possibly. Someone with daddy vibes, daddy energy. Some of you may actually be going to therapy to work on some issue connected to a father. It doesn't have to be, misuse of power or abuse or anything. For some of you it might be, but it could just be not having that connection with a father figure that you needed or you felt like you lost or didn't have access to. Working through feelings regarding a father figure. Others of you, you're working through feelings regarding, any sign, really, the King of Pentacles. But someone who's relatively grounded, someone who's a hard worker, someone who's values things in the material world, right? Values having a good job, being respected. I would say working hard, responsibility, dedication, serious, practical. Loves a good meal. Probably has a pretty sweet house. Let's see. And then Knight of Pentacles. So let's see. Yeah, I also see this as a message too of getting grounded from some sort of source who can give you some really good practical advice, whether it's a friend or a parent or, someone that you would trust. Instead of going, and I'm going to be really harsh with you guys, okay? So earmuffs if you're feeling very sensitive right now. Instead of going to your best friend or whoever to, this is going to be very blunt, so here we go. Play the victim. My ex broke up with me again and we tried it and he always does this and I'm so sick of it. The King of Pentacles is like, well, then you're the problem. You need to stop going back to your ex. There's a very real energy to the King of Pentacles that, here's the thing though, actually sends you on your way in the upright. It's like you go to this person wanting their... And it's not necessarily even the person you're in love with or struggling with romantically. It could be. But either way, this actually ends very positively for you, water signs. So hang with me. I'm not here to bully you or punish you here. But you kind of go in with this, Knight of Cups, hopeless romantic, but also like, woe is me in the reverse. Like, nothing ever works out for me. I'm so sensitive and nobody treats me right. Well, you're not doing something right then. And I know that sounds so harsh. Like, I'm kind of cringing telling you because I know my water signs can be very sensitive, right? I have a lot of water in my chart, right? But I am here to empower you. That's what I believe in for tarot. And that's what this King of Pentacles is doing. And I'm not saying this is my tarot reading doing it for you, but it's kind of funny. You go to hang out with a friend expecting them to be the shoulder you can cry on. And ironically, that's the last thing they give you. They give you a huge dose of tough love. And you're just like, well, that kind of hurt, but they're right. Like, there's something about being really honest about all this water and all this emotions. It's not serving you. You've been holding a cup out for this person. And by that, I mean, you've been holding space in your heart for someone who has rejected you or doesn't treat you right. Or maybe there is use and abuse. I don't know what it is, but it's like the Knight of Cups is an okay card in my reading. It's someone, again, hopeless romantic. They want to see the best in people. They're trying, but it's not as mature as the King of Cups. So there's a lack of boundaries sometimes when the Knight of Cups gives their energy to people. They don't know when enough is enough, or when they give their love, it's too much, right? In the reverse, it's either someone holding back love or it's someone, again, who's kind of caught up in the pity party a little bit. I already know some of you are mad at me. I can feel the energy that's not wanting to hear this, but I'm going to keep going and have faith that some of you, if you're open-minded to the idea of self-awareness and self-growth, this is a really great message because you have a glorious friend in your life, an earth angel, if you will, who's really going to come down on you and give you that tough love. It's not that they're dismissing you or being like, I don't want to hear it. They're being real with you. They're highlighting things that you don't see about yourself when you go out and give your love and time and heart and energy and affection to people. They're like, Do you see what the problem is here? Do you see the pattern? Let me give you this token, this awareness. Do you see how like the light is shining on it? It's like this is a golden opportunity. This is a gift that someone is giving you that actually helps set you straight. And I like that it's like the Knight in reverse, because rather than going out seeking love and sort of possibly rose-tinted glasses, like I just want to be in a partnership because that'll make me happy, you're going out in the world with a little bit more sense, a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more determination, and better boundaries, right? You know, water will conform to pretty much anything that surrounds it, right? Water doesn't have its own natural shape, you know, in different forms it can, right? Of course. But that's what I mean, like, especially the Knight of Cups, Pisces energy, it's mutable, it's changeable. So it kind of goes off of the impressions it gets from other people. So in a positive way, meeting up with this person, there's something about you this week that's very impressionable, and they're giving you solid gold. They are giving you like gems, words of wisdom, however you want to say it. And it gets you back out there in a changed way. But again, Knight of Pentacles says, you know, this isn't how it ends, though. It's not a sob story. It's not, and then I was single the rest of my life. Of course not. It's that you're going out with these practical skills now that, the thing is, they always existed within you, but it's almost like you needed someone to highlight it or to knock some sense into you to get you to see that thing about yourself. This is fantastic energy. And I am going to keep going here. I know that was a tough message to hear, but for some of you, this is awesome. I really like that energy. And that hurts our ego, right? I get why that's an uncomfortable message, because being really honest about, yeah, you know what? I do that in relationships. You know, I play the victim, or I play hard to get, but really I want them. So then I stalk them on social media, and then I feel like shit and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a pattern here. And when you can be really honest and look at yourself and shed a light on that darkness, right? That shadow side, or whatever you want to call it. Let's shine some light as the sun comes up. That means you can actually do something with it. That means it is healable, it is malleable, it is fixable, it is changeable, right? There isn't that, it doesn't become the monster or the demon in your life anymore. When you're accountable and take accountability for your own emotions and actions and choices in relationships, when you see them for what they are in the light of day, you can change your patterns. You can change your behavior. That's a very important life step, right? And I know you guys know this. I think there's just like a reminder this week. I do like this person quite a bit. I am going to say that. And so the other thing I want to note with that too, obviously I would never condone staying in an unhealthy relationship. That's not what this is about. But some of you walked away from an ex feeling very hurt and rejected. But actually what they offered to you was, again, worth its weight in gold, because I'm not saying you're going to go back to your ex. It's not that. It's that you learn something of tremendous value from them that's going to change your perspective on dating as you move forward. And it may have to do with self-respect or healthier boundaries, or taking someone at their word when they say, you know, I just want to have fun, but I'm not looking to date. I never want to get married. If there was this, oh, I'm going to get them to marry me. And you know what I mean? You're like, okay, maybe I will take people at their word and avoid people who aren't in alignment with my path, with my destiny. One more card on this and we'll do one more. Queen of Swords, yeah. Cut the bullshit. All right, water signs. That's all I'm going to say there. I've bullied you enough, and that's not my intention. I think you guys know. Be truthful with yourself. Be honest, and where you need to cut the cord, and where you need to change your patterns of thinking, your patterns of thought, your behavior. It's a tough love message this week, but if you're here for it, good for you. All right, new message. If I'm being honest, though, I actually really like this message. I think those are some of the most useful messages we can get in tarot. But that's just me. That's just me. All right, what do we got here? The Lovers, the Ace of Wands. Okay. What's going on with the Three of Swords, though? Let's see. I feel like you guys have friend-zoned someone, or maybe you've just been casually dating someone, but it's moving into something more romantic. Or here's the message I really got: the male in this relationship is really into what I think might be a female, but honestly, it could be a same-sex couple. But I will say, whether it's two males or one male or whatever, the male in this relationship is hiding his affection. But the thing is, I think the other person is aware of this. So there's a message here of, how do I want to say it? Not leading people on. Put yourself in their shoes, right? If If it's a happy, healthy, functioning friendship, then cool. That's awesome. But there's more here. It gets a little bit confusing and complicated here. Convoluted. Some of you, I think there's guilt because you're with someone and the affections aren't matched, and it's almost like this person goes to the end of the earth for you. Metaphorically, of course. Water signs, it's like they wait on you hand and foot. But you don't know what you want, or you're waiting for the next best option, or something where it's just like, the affections aren't matched. And the thing is, whoever is doing sort of the stringing along feels terribly guilty about it. And so again, the recognition of that is good, but then what are you going to do about it though, too? Again, that let's just not linger in la la land and think about, our guilt and, what we're sacrificing and blah, blah, blah. Like there needs to be some healing energy brought to this, which these two cards next to each other are great for healing. But there might be sort of some bittersweet ending too, where you decide that you just want to be friends. I absolutely see that in the cards. I also see another message completely unrelated to the last. So, hitting reset. I also see a message here where you go out on a date for possibly the first time in a while, or maybe you're just dating around, but you actually go on a date that's very lovely and very successful and sort of kind of gives you the butterflies in the tummy, but with that sort of excitement of possibility, it actually takes you back to sort of maybe some trauma, or that might be too harsh of a word, some memories of the past, and it kind of stirs up those feelings of, but I don't want to get hurt again. So I see some of you delaying a really strong connection because you're already, putting the fate on it that this person's going to leave you and this person's going to hurt you. So what's interesting for that message, it circles us right back here. Well, what have you changed about your approach in relationships? Because if something about, you has changed, or you're going to set different boundaries or do something differently that protects your heart more, then you don't need to write this off as, it's just going to fail like everything else, right? There is a message here of protecting your heart and almost like checking in with your body. And sort of getting sort of chakra work on this. Some of you might be working on heart chakra stuff. I don't know. But for some of you, this actually seems really lovely. It's like a really nice date, and you go home thinking about that person or wanting to text them, but you're like, no, I shouldn't, because it's very, again, kind of Geminian. Like, I want to date them, but I can't. I want to do this, but I'm not going to. And it's like, well, why? And I'm sure there is a reason, right? Human beings are complex, right? Not everything is black and white and crystal clear, especially with hangman energy. You have to think about it. But make sure it's coming from a high vibrational place. Again, make sure you're not acting out of fear of what will be, or past hurt, past narratives that you're still replaying or still healing from. Do your healing work. That's my best advice if you're going out there. And let's see, for those who are in relationships, could be something with a Gemini or a Libra is coming through, maybe a Pisces. Again, the Queen of Swords, so double Libra vibes here. Queen of Cups. She seems mad. Some of you owe someone an apology, or vice versa. And you're avoiding it. Some of you had a really difficult talk with your Capricorn, and it's almost like you kind of had to raise some issues that were bugging you. And either your Capricorn, it doesn't have to be a Capricorn, but I don't know why that's coming through very strong with the climbing thing, the mountain goat thing. It's like they started to play the victim, or they kind of dismissed it, but don't get it twisted, they're thinking about it. It's almost like they need to process it, right? Earth signs are naturally opposed by water, right? So emotions don't always come super easily and quickly to them the way they can for water signs, right? That's just not how it works. So have faith that you were heard. I wouldn't nag at them and poke the bear, because I think that's only going to agitate the situation more. Something about this Six of Swords to me says they're carrying around a lot of like guilt and shame, or they're trying to figure out how to communicate back to you, because there was clearly feelings expressed and someone is like pissed off. But with that, it's like this person needs some time, some space, some energy to process what's going on. So really, I actually do like this, so that they can move on, classic Six of Swords, from that initial confrontation of emotions, so that they don't have this sort of reactive, response to whatever you brought up. And again, in a vibe that maybe isn't the highest vibration. They're processing it. This could be a difficult conversation or a difficult situation, a strained relationship between air and water. It doesn't have to be. And I'll say this too, it could go vice versa. No matter what the signs are, some of my water signs are like playing dumb when they know they kind of effed up. Which, again, I don't mean to pick on you. You're getting some heavy messages this week, but why would I not share those with you, right? Accountability is awesome, right? Empowerment. Some of you, it's like, you kind of screwed up, but it's really hard to admit to it. And so again, you might be doing okay, I just need to process my emotions before I text them back, or before I call them back, or before we meet up again. Like, I need to go figure my stuff out so that I can come with clarity. Again, not reacting out of emotions or hostility or feeling attacked, right? Nobody's good under those circumstances and those pressure. So I actually think that's good. There's a heavier and important conversation that needs to be had. Don't expect it to be an overnight success story or a Cinderella story. I think both people need to go off and process it, especially the recipient of this information. And with that Knight of Wands, it might open up your mind to see things from a different perspective. There's more exploration into who you are as a person and how you function in this relationship and vice versa. This might be a situation where you guys decide that you've changed as people, and it doesn't make either one of you right or wrong. It's just you may have simply grown apart. There might be a distance in the relationship, and maybe this is about kind of having that confrontation that you've both been avoiding. But with that, it might actually lead to something really nice. It's just that initial uncomfortable, hey, can we talk? Some of you, your person doesn't do enough. They're not active enough with these two cards. It's like they might have health issues, and one or both of you is worried about each other's health. That might be a sore subject or a sore spot in the relationship. A lot of you, you're being reminded to not settle. No one's perfect, right? Obviously. This isn't about ditching people for superficiality reasons, or superficial reasons rather. But to me, it's like, wait for the 10 of coins, because you're going to know it when you feel it, when you see it. You're never going to have that question of, oh, well, they didn't text me back, or, oh, he or she said this or did this, and that was weird. Am I reading too much into it? Sometimes I actually feel like there might be a break or a split, however you want to say it, some time apart just to see what happens. And in that, there's a huge period of growth where I think you start to realize what you weren't getting in that relationship. And again, for some of you, I think you're going to be happier standing on your own, being alone, knowing that you didn't settle for less than you deserve. 10 of coins. This is what's coming in, but there is a period of like not being in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. And that might be with a Taurus or a Libra. All right, gang, that's what I got for you. This was actually quite a long reading. I hope this was helpful. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.